Do you want more success, more growth, more results? Then it's time for the Boundless Success Accelerator from the Modern Observer Group. This isn't your average coaching program. It's where top performers come to dominate. Weekly group sessions, on-demand coaching, a community that's got your back, and a power-packed library of tools to supercharge your business and career. No more excuses, no more waiting. Get in, level up, and start building the life you've been dreaming about. Visit us at modernobserver.com/boundlesssuccess to join today. Let's get you to the next level. Hello, and welcome to the Success Showcase, the podcast that helps you succeed in your business, life, and career. I'm your host, Eric Lopkin, with the Modern Observer Group, and with me, as always, is Chip Janiszewski from the Happiness and Success GPS. Chip, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. Happy June.
Happy June, yes. And it's a big month. You've got a lot going on coming up this month.
Yeah,
Birthdays, anniversaries.
this is the only month of the year that people pay attention to me. My birthday's coming up on Saturday. Father's Day's coming up a week after that on Sunday. And then if June had 31 days, my anniversary is July 1st. So for the rest of the year, it's the heck with Chip. So this month I always enjoy.
Yes, you've got a lot of good stuff happening.
Yep. And this
And
year on July 1st, we'll be going to Scotland with the family. So that's going to be a wonderful, wonderful, once in a lifetime trip. So my wife and her sister and both of our families with grandchildren and all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be one for the ages.
even better. Yeah, and we're going to be busy here at the Modern Observer Group because June we are kicking off the Summer of Success. This is a whole series of workshops, challenges, networking events, all geared to keep people moving forward during the summer. And we're starting it off with our giving challenge. You know, you and I have talked so often about the importance of giving. Well, we have put forth our giving challenge. What we are asking people to do is go 30 days, each day, another exercise in gratitude and giving. And you can go to modernobserver.com/giving. There's a list of 60 examples of how you can give of yourself, most of which don't cost anything. So let people know you're out there, let people know you care, and give of yourself.
No, and obviously that's just a great way to start an avalanche of kindness. My
Yes.
wife, the other day, she talked about dreaming a little bit as far as we've been bombarded with avalanches of negativity and so on and so forth, but the avalanches of positivity overwhelm everything. And that's basically what we're looking to do. And obviously, if you get into a 30-day challenge where you're doing that, people obviously you will enjoy even more than the recipient by giving. We guarantee that. So that's just a wonderful thing you're doing.
Absolutely. And the positivity that's spread benefits, not again, benefits you and the people you're giving to. And of course, again, this is an entire series of events and workshop. So you can go to modernobserver.com, click on Summer of Success, and take a look at the whole schedule of events and sign up for some of them. Get your skills to a next level. We're covering a whole bunch of different topics. Things as basic as goal setting and time management, getting into more complicated things such as how to use AI, how to master social media. And we're talking about personal things like mindset and stress reduction. So take a look. We're going to be doing this throughout June, July, and August. So it's a big season coming up.
It sounds wonderful. Obviously, if things slow down a little bit during the summer, it's a great time to recharge doing this thing. So sounds really, really good.
Exactly. Take the time, recharge, and focus on your success. So today we're actually going to be talking about a business basic, and that's marketing. And the reason we want to talk about this now is because I've had some conversations with a lot of business people, and they're all saying things like, well, the economy's uncertain. I don't know where things are going. So I want to cut back on my marketing so I can save some money. Well, here's the flaw in that. Marketing is the last place you want to cut back on. There are all sorts of ways that you can streamline operations to cut your costs, but you don't want to cut back on marketing as a business owner because people are not going to buy from you if they don't know you're still there. And especially if people are perceiving that things are difficult, which, by the way, this is perception rather than reality. Because if you take a look at the statistics, the economy is going full bore. Inflation is dropping, fuel prices are down to their lowest point in 4 years. So there's a lot of positive things going on. But people are still nervous. And that shift in perception means you have to respond to that perception. And you don't want to suddenly cut back on your marketing and give people the idea that you're not in business anymore or that you're not offering as many services or products anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as everybody out there knows, I'm the Happiness and Success GPS, but I'm also a business consultant. And I often talked about when I was working with my clients, top line business strategies. Basically, when times are getting bad or people are nervous, the first thing they think about is cutting. But if you're cutting from less of a pie, it's even worse. And as you're saying, the bottom line is you're not going to build anything up by doing that. So it's really, really important to come up with top line business strategies. And as far as this program goes, what you need to do is take a look at who your best customers are, why they're your best customers, identify more like them. And these are the people that you need to go after and develop the strategies to reach. And if you can increase that top line, then obviously it's great to keep things in line as far as expenses goes and not go extravagant. But to cut and think you're going to increase the bottom line by doing that, it's going to have the exact opposite effect. So obviously, we are bombarded in this country with a lot of people talking about cutting this and cutting that and so on and so forth. And I'm totally 180% against the philosophy of doing that kind of thing. Obviously, there's some waste and stuff like that out there. But the first thing you need to look in doing is increasing your top line.
Exactly. And you touched on a point there. Identify your best clients and figure out a way to target them. This goes back to the old 80/20 rule. 80% of your revenues come from 20% of your clients. So target your marketing for that 20%. You'll boost engagement there where it's most effective. And that's one way. And again, you don't have to cut back on your marketing to be able to cut down on the costs of marketing. There are different ways to do it. And targeting is a very effective one. Because let's face it, there's an old saying that in advertising that literally goes back to the 1950s. It says 50% of advertising works, we just don't know which 50%. Well, that's actually not true anymore, especially when you're advertising online, if you're using digital marketing. There are all sorts of statistics that you can use to see what's working. Where are you engaging your clients? And again, when you're talking about digital marketing in particular social media, you have to be very careful about what metrics you're using because likes and shares don't mean a thing. Followers don't mean a thing. In fact, thanks to the new algorithms that Facebook is running, most of the impact you're going to have are people you're not connected to and who aren't following you. So, the first thing you need to do is target who your best clients are and get rid of all of the effort that you're spending tracking metrics that don't matter.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, one of the best things you can do as far as your best clients out there is come up with a, like you're talking about, an appreciation campaign to reach out to them and say, thank you for your business. And if you can get a few of them to maybe answer a few questions, basically have some ideas as far as what you're possibly looking to do and run it by them, make them part of your board of directors and so on, and make them feel like they're helping you out. Obviously, that's one of the ways you can do that. You can get creative with this kind of thing, and especially in these days. So, and if you put that together, that's one of the strategies that you can have. And obviously, as far as researching where to get new customers, take a look at what you have and just Google who their competitors are or like businesses and so on and so forth, and come up with a list of people to target that way. And obviously, you can do that through your various methods. But if you're into networking, that's when you can identify name and company who you're looking to meet. So it's really, really important to just take a look at all these different things. And if they're working out for you now, number one, get more input for them as far as how you can help them more. Give them a few ideas that you had to get them thinking about it. And I think that's a great strategy to do that. And then number two, you want more of those same types of customers. So go out and get them.
Absolutely. Now, you mentioned networking. Now, networking is an incredibly low cost method of marketing. You're out there, you're getting your name, your face out there, you're telling people what you do. But remember, networking is not sales. Networking is not about closing the deal, it's more about letting people know who you are, what you can do to help them, and reinforcing the fact that you are an expert at what you do. This is an incredibly low cost method of getting the word out. And the more you network, the more people talk about you. And that creates word of mouth. Now, with everything we have now, all of the different types of media, television, radio, digital media, online media, word of mouth, old fashioned word of mouth is still the most effective. People want to buy from people that are being recommended to them by folks they trust. And when you network, you can build that up.
Yeah, absolutely. That's definition of networking. Is the definition is developing win-win relationships. Win-win relationships are based upon trust, but it is human nature that people want to buy from people that they know, like, and trust, but only if it's a necessity or if they want it right now. It's basically need and impulse. So as far as the marketing thing, obviously you're filling some people's needs, but the impulse side of things is what you can work on. And if you're really, really good at that, come up with a plan, and I think that will help your top line out a whole lot. But again, it's all about relationships, and networking is the best way to do that because people want to know who you are and all about you. And the only way you can do that is to go to a networking meeting and then meet with them afterwards to get to know each other so that when people are looking for your services, they have you front of mind if somebody asks for something. They say, oh, I know somebody that can help you. And by the 6 degrees of separation, you don't have any idea who that is. But everybody knows an average of 200 people out there, and those relationships are potential resources for you once you develop those relationships. So when I am at the West Hartford Chamber meetings and there's 50 people in the room, I say 200 times 50 is 10,000 potential resources right here. So get out and set up appointments and start getting to know each other.
Absolutely. It's so important that you let people know you're there. And again, that's the core of marketing. Now, Chip, you also mentioned that you want to be able to target folks. You know, figure out who your best clients are and then find who their competitors are. Well, that's not always so easy. You can certainly do a web search, and that'll help you find who the competitors are. But you also want to target people. You want to know who the right person in those companies are that you can reach out to. Well, most times a simple web search isn't going to do it. So that's where using something like LinkedIn comes in, where you can find people based on the company they work for, the position that they hold. So if you're looking for specific titles within certain companies, this can help you find them. There are also many databases that will allow you to target, find companies by number of employees, by revenues, much more detailed searches than you can do just with Google. Now, here's the trick. A lot of these databases are very expensive. However, most of them can be accessed for free if you have a library card, which is also free. So you're talking about cutting costs without cutting resources. Get yourself a library card. Go to your local library, check out their website to see what databases are available. And, most of the databases are available inside the library branch, but there are a good number of them that you can access remotely from any internet access point. So from your office, from your phone, from an internet, anywhere where there's Wi-Fi, if you've got a library card, you can access these resources and they will help you target your marketing so that you're hitting the people you want to hit.
Yeah, absolutely. And getting back to the networking side of things, when I tell people the best commercial is number one, what's your value add? But number two, and this what today is all about, is what is your ask? So if you do go online and you
Yep.
pick out a company and so on and so forth, and you name a person out of the blue, if you can put that in your commercial, by human nature, the more specific you are with your ask, the more specific people might want to be as far as helping you out. And they may not know that person, but they may know somebody else. But what you're doing by being very specific and prepared with a great commercial is you're getting other people to think about you. And it may not happen at that meeting, but it may happen later if they know what you're looking for. So that's part of the deal. Obviously, it's not always going to work, but if they have a really, really good idea over and over and over again, who a really good client for you is, and you have that relationship with them and you get together, you can start talking about how about this, how about that, and that's how things grow. I mean, the other thing that you can do is start your own dedicated group, and I know you're in a lot of different specific groups where you're doing this exact thing and you're also working on developing your businesses and other things. And obviously, you can talk a little bit more about that. I mean, we had a whole show about a convention that you went to a little while
Right.
ago that did that same thing about the really heavy hitters from all over the place. I mean, there are all different types of methods out there for doing this.
Yes, there are. And, we talk a lot about local networking, chambers of commerce, local groups, things like that. But in the last 5 years, there has been an explosion of virtual networking groups where you log on through either Zoom or another platform and you can connect with folks all over the country and all over the world. I have made so many connections around the United States. We had a guest here that I met through networking that's based in the United Arab Emirates. So you can extend your reach through these networking events as long as you know who you're targeting and how to reach them. So that's where those databases come in handy. LinkedIn comes in handy. When you meet somebody at a networking group, connect with them on social media, whether it's Facebook, LinkedIn. Make sure you follow up and connect. LinkedIn, when you're looking for specific people at specific companies, it will tell you how you're connected to them when you find them if you have an existing connection. So you can reach out to somebody you already know who may know that person or may know somebody connected to that person. And again, it's, LinkedIn limits you to 3 degrees, but it's, the 6 degrees of separation. You never know who the folks that are in your circle already know. So make sure that people know who you're trying to meet. Now, also, advertising is a key point in marketing. So I want to take a moment to dismiss a very common myth of advertising. Taking out an ad is not advertising. Taking out an ad more times than not is a waste of money. You need to plan a campaign. You need to plan numerous ads. They don't have to be the same ad, they don't have to be in the same medium. But most people will not react to your ad until they hear about you 7 times. So if you just toss out one ad, that's not going to be effective. And you also need to make sure that you're placing ads where your target audience is. If you own a retail store, taking an ad out in the yellow pages might have been gangbusters in 1975, but it's not going to get you customers now. On the other hand, I know a number of service based businesses, electricians, plumbers, roofers. They still do very good business from the yellow pages because that's the sort of thing, it's an emergency. People will still pick up the yellow pages and look, but more often they go to Google. So that's where you need to be found. Now, you don't necessarily need to be taking ads out on Google. I know Google wants you to take out ads, but you don't have to. You can use search engine optimization to make sure your website is optimized so that people find you easily. Now, it's more than just what's on your website. You have to update your website frequently because that is how the optimization works. You need to add blog posts. You need to add new content. It can be a special you're running. It can be an article that your target market will be interested in. The content doesn't matter as long as it's of interest to the people you're trying to reach. And then when you do have new content, you want to post links to that content on social media to make it easier for people to find you. And that's where social media does come in. It is still very important because the more you post on social media, the more likely people are to find you. And that's what you want. You want to be found. You know, the truth of the matter is, as much as we talk about networking, your success isn't about who you know, it's about who knows you. Now, we mentioned that we had a show a while back about a conference that I went to. Now, this was the 10X Growth Conference, and conferences can be incredibly valuable and incredibly expensive. But a lot of these are now offering low cost virtual attendance. So you can be at the presentations, learn all you can, and then take that away without spending a lot of money. Now, the 10X Growth Conference was put together by Grant Cardone. And I'm sure most of our listeners have heard of him. He's a best-selling author. He's on social media constantly. Why is he on social media so much? Because he knows he needs people to know who he is. Otherwise, they're not going to buy from him. He actually has a goal. He wants 8 billion people to know his name. Is it realistic? Even he says it's probably not realistic. But it's reaching for that that keeps him posting, that keeps him marketing. because that way, the more people know of him, the more people that are right to buy from him will be able to find him. And that's what you need to do. There is almost no such thing anymore as overexposure, but you don't have to be spending a fortune to do it. You can be posting on social media, posting blog posts, getting out to events, networking events, ribbon cutting events of local businesses. If you if you have kids that are involved in school projects, school sports, ballet, dance class, anything like that, get involved in those and get to know the parents. They may not be your target audience, but they may know people who are.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the, obviously, you are a wealth of knowledge in a lot of different ways as far as knowing everything that is out there. It does get back, if you're a smaller business, especially, but whatever you are doing, your own time management is so, so important. And what you need to
Yes.
do is identify where you are most valuable for your business. Sometimes, if you're the owner, you want to get the word out yourself and so on and so forth. But there are many, many businesses out there like you and other people that can help people put together their strategic plan. I always talk to businesses about subcontracting out things that you don't need to do, like accounting and insurance and so on and so forth. Putting together your strategic plan for marketing is another thing there. If you can fix that cost and have somebody that knows what they're doing helping you out with this thing and putting it together so that you can concentrate on getting out there and seeing your customers or whatever you're best at doing, even if you want to run your business from the beach or something like that, if you can put this all together as part of your strategic plan and use the resources that are available out there to help you with this. And obviously, marketing has never been more complicated than it is right now. But these people are brilliant as far as ways to target people that you haven't even thought of. So it's really, really important to consider that part of it. Again, it all does start with putting together a strategic plan for yourself. And it all starts with what is the best use of your time and figuring it out, just putting together that organization chart and figuring out who's going to do what and plug them in. It could be an employee, it could be outsourced or whatever. But if you have that in front of you, you have a handle on your business and you're doing what you need when you're most needed to do that.
Definitely. You don't want to spread yourself too thin. And here's something else that you should be looking into, especially when you're talking about social media marketing. Most marketing now can be automated. There is our software programs. They range from free programs to a couple of $100 a month. Find one that works for you so you're not spending all your time doing this. Also, especially with something like social media, start an intern program. Reach out to your local colleges, your local high schools. Who knows digital and social media better than high school and college students? You can bring one in for the summer for almost no cost. They can help you out. You'll have to provide the strategy, but they can do the heavy lifting in terms of posting. They can help you come up with new ideas, especially if they're your target audience. You can get interns in not just to teach them the business, but also get their feedback. And again, that's where we started all of this is talking to your customers. So you want to turn your customers into brand ambassadors. You want to make them so happy with your product or services that they're going out and telling the world. Social media helps you do that. Advertising helps you do that. Networking helps you do that. You have to figure out what your strategy is going to be, and it all starts with targeting your customer. If you have not put together a customer avatar, and we've talked about this on other episodes, do so immediately. This is an image of your ideal customer. What are their demographics? What are their psychographics? If you don't know, talk to your best customers and get to know them better and figure out who they are so you can target more people like them. We are coming up on the end of our time, and this is such a comprehensive subject. Obviously, we just scratched the surface today, but there are tons of resources online. I mentioned Grant Cardone's conferences. He actually does marketing courses online that you can look into. We, as part of the Summer of Success, take a look at those programs because we will be doing a number of programs on marketing. In fact, we have brought in a story brand advisor to teach you how to run online challenges to get new customers to come in and how to tell your story to attract new customers. So there's all sorts of resources out there. You have to take a look for them, and most of them are not expensive. So we are coming up on the end of our time. Chip, what do you think is the big takeaway this week?
Well, obviously, you got to come up with a strategy, but I'm going to go off on your internship thing that you just talked about because what you are doing by providing opportunities for college students and for high school students out there, and basically, there's actually positions at college where people are out there trying to get their students internship positions out in the community. And if you are one of those community partners out there, you are really, really showing that you care about what's going on out there, and it just gives you a fantastic image. So the more that you can help develop these people, again, plan that, but there are so many talented people out there, and you're absolutely right. I mean, there are kids that are in high school and college that know more than we will ever know, especially yours truly, that you can get involved with that. But it's really, really important to get specific, put together your plan, get the help you need to implement it, make the best use of your own time, and things are going to work out great. So, wishing you all the best.
Yeah, I think for me the big takeaway is target, target, target. Know who your best customers are. Know how to reach people just like them and know what your message needs to be to attract them to your business. Now, there's something else we have. If you go to adamanity.com/Modern Observer, we've teamed with Adamanity to have what's called the Yes Test. This is a quick quiz that will help you determine what the voice of your marketing needs to be in order to attract your correct target. So that's another free resource you can take a look at to help marketing. This way, you're not spending a fortune, but you're not cutting back where it most matters. Again, if people don't know you're out there, they're not going to buy from you. You've been listening to the Success Showcase. You can catch every episode at xvadio.com, the Apple Podcasts app, YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon Music, and wherever you find podcasts. Remember, make this your best week ever and make next week even better because we're going to be making this the summer of success. We'll see you next time.